It's been a pretty bad week for Star Wars fans. Star Wars Celebration pretty much confirmed the worst of the worst when it comes to announcements, the future of the brand, and any hope that you might have been holding on to for this series, I'm sure has probably vanished into thin air, because who's excited about this? They're literally saying, oh yeah, all those things that you didn't like over the past decade, we're bringing you more of that. I mean, just in this statement alone, expect more female-driven Star Wars stories, says Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy. There's a balance in the Force. What balance? Every show that you put out is mostly women. The balance, it's not balanced at all. The studio boss explains why it's thrilling to put women front and center in the franchise. Because you like watching it tank? You did so good with the ones that came before, right? Like Rey, who you're bringing back. Rey's the biggest Mary Sue in all of sci-fi. But we don't need to get into that. Let's focus on The Mandalorian, because that's what I want to focus on, because it just shows you the endless bait and switch bullshit that these companies do, because they give you this character for 2 seasons, even a little bit in Boba Fett, and what happens? Well, they decide that we're going to go ahead and just remove Din Djarin. He is no longer the Mandalorian. He's no longer the Mandalorian. He's not the main character anymore. That is now Bo-Katan. She runs the show now. And you see the responses to that over here on Twitter to this post, where they ask that and people are saying, you know, what the hell is your problem, basically? Why are you doing this? Except this person who likes this change up. This person says, I'm sorry I'm not watching Keeping Up with the Mandalorians. I'm trying to watch The Mandalorian. Or The Mandalorian, which isn't the case anymore. It's now The Mandalorians, even though they're not going to add that S. They're just going to call it The Mandalorian. You think you're tuning in for Din. Instead, you get Bo-Katan. And I like Bo-Katan just fine. But this isn't her show. It was never her show. But they're changing it. Why? Well, they want to have a female front and center in every property they put out. Kathleen Kennedy, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how she still has a job, but she does. She does. And I don't think it's going anywhere, despite the obvious signs that this show is tanking. I mean, you see it in the Rotten Tomatoes score, but that's not all I have. I have quite a few things to go over to show you just how bad this is. And this is bad for the brand itself, for Star Wars, because this is, or at least was, their most popular Star Wars original show that they've made yet. I can't think of anything that's been as popular as The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian practically saved this brand. And Baby Yoda lifted this brand up on his little back for a good 2 years. And now you're throwing all that away. You've got people complaining about the quality of the show. Ever since that Lizzo and Jack Black thing, it's really got people talking. Really got people talking. What a stupid idea this was. But they decided to go through with it and make it happen. And because of that, they've seen a drop in viewership. I already did a video on this one. Mandalorian sees a huge drop in viewers for Season 3 premiere. The Mandalorian Season 3 debut logged disappointing viewer numbers. But is there more to it than a simple drop in interest? Well, they're not going to go into the real reason, which is the fact that Disney Star Wars is dog shit. But to show you just how bad this is, and I hate using paired analytics, which is the data that the Direct and Wired used for their report here, because Parrot Analytics doesn't tell the story of ratings. They use this with Velma, tried to say there was a huge demand for Velma. They did it recently with that garbage show, Gotham Knights. Tried to say there was huge demand for that. Demand is people talking about it on the internet. That's what demand is. Demand is social media posts, Reddit posts, comments and views on YouTube videos, those don't indicate interest in the actual show. It could mean people are interested or talking shit about it. And the thing that I find interesting about this, The Mandalorian Season 3 slumps to worst audience demand since launch, is the fact that nobody's talking about The Mandalorian. This means people don't even want to make fun of it because it's so bad. People are just done talking about Star Wars. That's bad. Okay, I'm sure there might have been a little bit of a spike over this week. I can tell you Star Wars interest is up a little bit. I keep wanting to say Star Trek because, honestly, it's in a much better place, at least this year, than Star Wars is, because Picard Season 3 is actually pretty good. Now, I don't expect that to stick. I expect it to go right back to shit, but people are talking about Star Trek. Star Trek's demand is up because people are actually talking about it, and in a positive light. There's still some people shitting on it, but people are talking about it. Nobody's talking about Star Wars. They are this week because of all those dumb, goofy announcements that they did at Star Wars Celebration, but that's people dunking on it. As far as The Mandalorian itself, the biggest spike it had was when Lizzo was on the show, and that wasn't in a positive light. But other than that, no one's talking about this series, really. And for those of you that are interested in it, I'm sure you're saying, yeah, well, I'm talking about it, but as a overall, most people aren't. Nobody is interested in this show. And that's Disney. That's Disney's fault. That's on Disney. That's on Disney. Imagine spending $1 billion or how much they spent on this, and you just pissed it away, just like they're doing with Marvel now. But, man, they really blew it with this franchise. Blew it. And then imagine Kathleen Kennedy. She's so mad that she had to get coffee for everybody for her entire career that she's ruining their legacies. She's like, F you, George and Steven. I got coffee for you, but don't worry. I'm going to destroy your legacy for making me be an errand woman. So, I don't know. I don't know what they do. I mean, they're not going to fire Kathleen Kennedy, obviously. They're not going to fire her. They would have done it a long time ago. She's going to leave when she wants. Is she even leaving after Indiana Jones? I don't think she is. I think she's going to stay and make sure the job is done properly. So, yeah, this is bad. Real bad for Star Wars. And when nobody wants to talk about your show, they don't even want to dunk on it for an extended period of time because Lizzo was in it. That's bad. You can't even get people to talk negative about your show. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. Also, if you would please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Check out my Rumble and Locals, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my Locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my Locals.